Hey guys, so for today's video I have every single shade in the NYX Lingerie liquid lipsticks and I'm going to be reviewing and swatching them all for you guys. So I'm super excited. I actually purchased all of these on my own. I think one of them was sent to me, Bedtime Flirt, which is one of my favorite shades. So I've been testing that shade out for like, what, maybe 2-3 months now. I love that shade. It's amazing. So I've had quite a while to kind of test these out. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to give you guys a bit of a review and my personal opinion on these liquid lipsticks, and then we're going to move on to the lip swatches. I'm going to kill my lips for you guys and do all 12 of these liquid lipsticks on my lips. Pray for me. So let's just get right into talking about these. This is what the bottle looks like. I personally think the bottle is super sleek. These liquid lipsticks remind me a lot of the Kylie Jenner lip kits before she changed the formula. The bottle is really similar. It's kind of just like that hard clear plastic with the black top. Also, this shade Bedtime Flirt is actually a really close dupe to Candy K by Kylie Jenner lip kit. The only difference I would say is Candy K is a tad bit darker, so keep that in mind. Now, in terms of the formula of these, I really do like them. Now, when I first tested these out, I kind of made a little bit of a mistake. I applied way too much of it on. Now, the problem with doing that is you are going to kind of cake up the liquid lipstick and then it's going to be too dry. I believe like a while ago I gave my first little opinion on these liquid lipsticks from NYX and I kind of said that they're a little bit too drying, but seriously, scratch what I said. I know that might sound silly, but I've given them a test out for like an additional 2 months since I said that, and these are not drying at all. That's actually one of my favorite things about these, is that it is so comfortable to wear on the lips. Now, the reason why I initially applied way too much of this on when I was first kind of testing it out within the first few days a couple months ago is because these are actually not too pigmented. They are not as pigmented as some other liquid lipsticks. When you swipe one of these, like, you don't get that, whoa, that's pigmented kind of effect. You know when you first swipe a liquid lipstick and it's like, bam, like holy pigment. This doesn't really have that effect, which is one of my things that I actually don't like about it. You kind of have to layer it on. Like right now I'm wearing Embellishment, and this shade in particular is actually really not pigmented. You guys will be able to see a little bit of this shade being lively swatched. You can tell that it's not extremely pigmented. I kind of had to work with it a little bit and layer a tiny bit, but I will say these are layerable, if that's even a word. Like, you can layer these. So even though they're not like bam, whoa pigmentation, you can layer them. You just have to layer them in thin layers. Like, don't pack on so much and then let it dry and then pack it on. Thinly, do it very slowly and gradually. I will just kind of show you guys a quick swatch. So here is Bedtime Flirt. You can see it's pigmented. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely not going to sit here and say that these are sheer. But when you see them swatched next to another liquid lipstick, you can be like, whoa, okay, I see what she means. You know what I mean? Like, other liquid lipsticks are just really pigmented. But I do really love the wand. The wand is actually nice because it's shaped nicely. It's kind of at this slanted long side. It just makes it really easy to get that good kind of overlined lip if you're like me and you overline your lips a little bit. So as you guys know, I'm kind of picky when it comes to applicators on products, and I actually really like this applicator a lot. Another thing I love about this liquid lipstick is it lasts so damn long. This shade in particular, Bedtime Flirt, is so beautiful. It's a really beautiful like pinky mauve, and it just lasts so long. It lasts at least 6 to 8 hours while still looking good. But some liquid lipsticks, as you know, after about 6 hours or so, will start to flake, and these don't do that. In terms of the texture of them, I actually love the texture because they're my favorite texture liquid lipstick. They're not too moussey fluffy, but they're not too liquidy. They're that perfect like liquid mousse. I don't know, it's just a perfect texture. So all in all, just as an overview, I would probably give them a 9 out of 10, to be honest. I really love them. I feel like that one thing of them not being too pigmented, especially some shades, is that one thing that makes these not be my absolute favorite. You know what I mean? Other than that, like I said, that's probably the only con that I would have to say. Also, side note on the pigmentation aspect of these, have you guys ever seen like swatches of this on Instagram? If you have, then you know what I mean when I say that they're not extremely pigmented, because even sometimes in the swatches I can see like a little bit of the person's skin peeking through on certain strokes. So yeah, let me actually go ahead and swatch the shade Embellishment right here on my hand and see how it looks compared to on my lips. Yeah, so I just did one swipe there, right? And you see how it's kind of a little bit see-through? So I'll probably just have to go over it again, and I'll have to dip in a little bit more and kind of go over it a little bit. And even Bedtime Flirt's definitely more pigmented than Embellishment, but even Bedtime Flirt could have used a second swatch. So you know what I mean? Like a normal liquid lipstick would just be like, whoa, bam, one swatch, that's it, that's all you need. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind when it comes to these NYX liquid lipsticks. But other than that, these are priced very affordable. So I definitely do recommend you guys to go out and purchase them. I actually bought mine on nyxcosmetics.ca, so I purchased them online. So now we're gonna move on to the lip swatches. Like I said, right now I have Embellishment on my lips already, so I'm not gonna go ahead and kind of live swatch it again. I will just insert a clip of how I swatched it in the makeup tutorial that I just did. Keep in mind, FYI, I'm wearing a different shirt than I am in this video, so just keep that in mind. But just so you guys can actually see how it's swatched during that makeup tutorial in this video, you will notice that it is a tad bit on the sheer side. But let's just start off with Embellishment. This is Embellishment right here, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful purple. I love this entire look that I have on today. I wasn't expecting to go purple today, but I did. And I would describe Embellishment as, you know how like dusty mauves are the new trend? I would describe Embellishment as dusty purple. It's that perfect like dusty gray lavender purple with a hint of like an eggplant in it. It's just a really unique shade that I actually really do love. Also, another thing that I noticed with these is some of these shades have a little bit of a different texture. Like this shade in particular has a little bit of a waxy texture. It's a little bit weird. This shade in particular actually has that texture. So keep that in mind, that some of these shades are that really nice moussey texture, and then some of them have that weird candle wax texture like this shade. So now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to lip swatches for all of the other 11 lip shades. So the first shade we have is Baby Doll. This shade is absolutely beautiful. I really like this shade because it's that beautiful pale milky pinky nude, but I think this will be beautiful, beautiful, beautiful on pale skin. If you do have skin tone similar to mine where it's a little bit more on the light to medium side, then of course, as you can see on me, this is very, very pale. But what I do like about this is even though it's pale, for some reason it looks pretty wearable. Like normally when I wear a shade this pale, I kind of look a little sick. With this, there must be something in the undertone that's actually very complimentary. Like it doesn't make you look too pale or sick or washed out, which is really nice. So the next shade we have is Satin Ribbon. Satin Ribbon is really beautiful. It's actually very, very, very similar to the first one I just swatched called Baby Doll. The only difference I would say is Satin Ribbon is a little bit tiny bit more, kind of more nude. Baby Doll has a little bit more of a pink to it. They did a great job with the formula for this pale shade because it's not patchy, not splotchy, it goes on really well. This is one of these shades though that has a little bit of that waxy feel. Not that that's like a total deal breaker, but I just feel that it's necessary to tell you guys just in case you don't like that texture. I just feel like it's my job here to kind of tell you guys specifics. The next shade is Corset. Corset is a beautiful, beautiful kind of grayish. It's definitely a gray-based nude shade. But this shade actually reminds me a lot of Jeffree Star's Posh Spice. I feel like they're very, very similar. I'm actually curious to see the difference between the two. As I'm going through these, if I kind of think of any dupes in my head, keep in mind that I am keeping these dupes registered in my head and I'm going to actually test the dupes out, and I might just have like an updated dupes video for you guys, so just stay tuned for that. Next we have Lace Detail. Lace Detail is really, really pretty. It actually looks really similar to, of course, the first two that I swatched, but this one is definitely more of a healthier pink nude, and by that I mean it's just a little bit less pale, so it's going to kind of be a little bit better for more variety of skin tones. It's not going to be as pale, and this one didn't need as much of a second layer. It was a little bit more pigmented than the first two as well, and I find this one to definitely be a nice like palish light classic pinky nude. Next we have Push Up, and oh my god, this is one of my favorite shades ever because I feel like this is just the perfect classic nude. Like this is the nude that you can wear with every and any single makeup look and it'll always just match. It's the most perfect like pinky, mauvey, but peachy, but neutral nude. Like I said, I don't know, there's just something very classic about it and something really, really, really pretty about it. It's also coming off a tad bit lighter in the viewfinder that I can see right here on camera than it is in person. I don't know, I feel like it just looks really good. I feel like this is a shade that I could almost throw on with every look and it'll never look bad. You know what I mean? It's one of those classic lip colors. Next we have Bedtime Flirt, and Bedtime Flirt is seriously one of my favorite lip colors ever, not only just in this collection, ever. This shade I wear quite frequently. I've been wearing this a ton over the past 3 months even. It's one of my favorite shades, like I said. I feel like it's the most classic mauve lip color. If you're in the mood for a mauve, but you just want it to be a plain old classic mauve nude, like you don't want it to be too pinky, too red, too nude, this is just classic mauve nude shade, and I feel like it's very wearable. It matches with a ton of different looks because of the tones of it. This shade also doesn't feel as waxy as some of the other previous shades that I just swatched on the lips as well, so kind of keep that in mind if that matters to you at all. So next we have Ruffle Trim. Try saying that 3 times fast, I swear you can't do it. This is actually a really beautiful shade. It's a different kind of nude. I actually don't own anything like this. It's a really nice warm mauve nude, so it's not too much of a cool tone. It's more of a warmish type of shade. There's actually this new shade called Rust that's actually going to be really in for spring and summer. I've been noticing it a lot on clothing, and I feel like this is kind of that shade. It's more of a rust mauve, so kind of just a warmer, more peachy toned mauve shade, and it is really pretty. So next we have Exotic, and Exotic is a really beautiful different shade. I actually don't own too many shades like this. I would describe Exotic as a really pretty brick rich mauve. It's kind of more on the red side of a mauve, kind of more brick-like. This actually reminds me a lot of how Kat Von D's Lolita looks on me. Lolita on me looks very similar to this. It's kind of that brick red mauve. So next we have the shade Honeymoon, and Honeymoon is such a gorgeous but different shade. It's actually more of a cement, deep purpley gray. It's very similar to Embellishment, except Embellishment is definitely more purple. This is Embellishment right here, and Honeymoon is definitely more gray, a tad bit more of a wearable nude shade tone kind of in there. I think it's really pretty. It's actually really different. I don't own too many shades like this. My lips are starting to look really crazy and red around the edges, so just ignore that. I've been swatching my lips like crazy and they are sore and they're hurting, but I'm sticking it through for you guys, so kind of ignore the messy swatches at this point, but I do really love this shade. I think it is beautiful. So the next shade is Teddy, and Teddy is a really beautiful deep brown shade, but it definitely has a bit of that gray, grungy type of undertone, so I think it's absolutely beautiful, but again, it's different. So the next shade is Beauty Mark, and Beauty Mark is really similar to Teddy, the previous shade I just swatched, except this one is a little bit more chocolatey, a little bit redder in tone instead of gray. Teddy is a little bit more gray-ish chocolate, and this is a little bit more classic chocolate, even though this definitely isn't a classic chocolate. It's more of a smoky chocolate. I don't know. These two shades are very similar, so it kind of just depends which tone you guys prefer. But I do really prefer this shade just because it has a little bit more of a smoky chocolate look, and I do really like it. So that completes all of the lip swatches. I know they started getting kind of crazy towards the end, kind of messy and all. I can't help it, guys. 12 liquid lipsticks on your lips. It's not a fun thing. My lips are struggling right now, but it's all good. I'll do it for you guys. Another thing too that I noticed when doing these lip swatches is these suckers do not come off. Like, let me tell you guys, they do not come off. I've done liquid lip swatches before, and a little bit of Bioderma on a cotton swab usually works, or a makeup wipe to take it off. It would not come off with Bioderma, and Bioderma takes off almost everything, but clearly not these. These are very hard to come off. They really stick on the lips, which is a good thing. They'll last all day. I had to go out and grab my coconut oil to take these bad boys off, because I'm telling you guys right now, they literally would not budge, like wouldn't even budge with just a makeup remover wipe. You need to bring out the oil for these. Like, they stay on. So that's it for this review and swatches video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I hope I gave you guys enough details on my feelings and thoughts on these. Definitely my favorite shade I would say is Bedtime Flirt, but to be honest, I love all the shades. I love that NYX came out with a full collection of just nudes. Like, is anyone else down for that? I love that. Let me know down below what your favorite shade is out of all 12 shades. If you guys do want me to continue doing review videos, then definitely like, thumbs up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll of course see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.